We have new information on the deaths of American tourists on vacation in the Dominican Republic. One couple was found dead of respiratory failure last week, and now we're learning that another American died of the same cause at the same resort just days before. Our Chief National Affairs correspondent Tom Yamas on the scene in the Dominican Republic with the latest. Good morning, Tom.
George, good morning to you. This stunning new development is rocking this vacation mecca. All three of those deaths you mentioned still remain a mystery, and the families of those victims say enough is not being done here on the island. They want the FBI to get involved. They want the State Department to be here. Now, what is clear right now is that several Americans have died here. One has been attacked in what is becoming a brutal year for the DR.
This morning, a growing nightmare in paradise, as we're now learning of another American tourist ending up dead inside of this resort in the Dominican Republic. This just 5 days before another couple was found dead in their room at the same resort. The family of 41-year-old Miranda Shop Warner now demanding answers after they say she took a drink from the minibar in her hotel room, then suddenly collapsed and died. A family spokesman telling Fox News,
"She had a soda mixed with one of the small bottles of whatever alcohol it was, and suddenly she called out to Dan, and he came right over, and she was unable to breathe."
Just before the incident, Warner posting these photos of her room to Facebook. She was there with her husband, a doctor, celebrating their anniversary. He says after taking that drink, she abruptly experienced acute physical distress and collapsed. The family says Dr. Warner administered CPR until paramedics arrived. Officials in the DR saying there were no signs of foul play and that Warner died of respiratory failure and pulmonary edema, essentially excess fluid in the lungs. The news sending shockwaves. Maryland couple, 63-year-old Nathaniel Edward Holmes and his fiancée, 49-year-old Cynthia Ann Day, were found dead. The cause of death was also the same exact respiratory failure that killed Warner. The resort where the tourist died is Bahia Principe, a sprawling, all-inclusive property east of Santo Domingo. In response to the three deaths in less than a week, the resort saying staff followed the proper protocol and telling us, "We are deeply saddened by the incident and want to express our deepest condolences to their family and friends." This coming as the Dominican Republic has already faced damaging headlines this year after two American tourists died and another was attacked while on vacation.
When we go to these resorts, we really feel safe. We feel like we're in paradise. We let our guards down. We have a good time. And that's when bad things happen.
Delaware resident Tammy Lawrence says she was beaten nearly to death in January by an attacker who was wearing a hotel uniform while she was staying at Majestic Elegance Resort. And in March, New Yorkers Orlando Moore and Portia Ravenel vanishing on the drive to the airport, their bodies discovered days apart, their rental car fished from the bottom of the sea. Authorities in the Dominican Republic believe the couple was involved in a car accident along an oceanfront highway. But now, two members of Congress are calling for an FBI investigation.
Now, all of the hotels involved are cooperating with the police right now, but again, the families of those victims say enough is not being done. For instance, the Warner family wants to know why the glass that she was drinking from just before she collapsed wasn't tested for poison. And things are getting really bad here. There are no suspects in this case. Even the locals I've talked to, some of the locals say they're spooked by this. This is a country that depends on tourism, and this mystery is scaring a lot of people, George.
I'll bet. Okay, Tom, thanks very much. Let's bring in Jen Ashton, our chief medical correspondent, for more on this. These deaths were so sudden.
Yeah. So, George, we have a list in medicine going from the most likely to the least likely of things that can acutely and immediately suddenly kill someone. Basically, they go from heart, lung, vascular issues like a clot or a ruptured aneurysm to infection. And then we start thinking of things like poisoning and trauma. Obviously, the key here is going to be in autopsy reports and toxicology reports.
And when you've got three deaths in 5 days, you know the investigation is key.
This is absolutely concerning and suspicious. And I want to just speak to something we heard in Tom's piece. We're hearing reports that the same cause of death, pulmonary edema, cardiopulmonary arrest, that is what doctors have to put on a death certificate when they don't know what the cause of death was, because that was the most proximal thing that happened. The heart and lungs stopped working, therefore the person died. Until we see a post-mortem report, an autopsy report with full toxicology, we don't know what the cause of death
what
was.
a miss
but I can
not
tell
to check that glass.
Absolutely, and the toxicology and postmortem, the autopsy, will absolutely be able to tell what killed these people.
In the meantime, we've had this other very strange and sad case out of Fiji where a couple just seemed, no indication they were poisoned, but just seemed to get some kind of a flu.
Exactly, and there's been a lot of talk that there's some infectious disease, some virus. Again, I spoke to a top ID infectious disease expert yesterday who said there is almost no infection that out of the blue can kill two healthy people this quickly. So again, there's symptoms may be a clue, but that is another example. We need a postmortem, autopsy, and toxicology, because when you see two more people, young, healthy, die suddenly, that is really, really suspicious.
Sure is. Jen Ashton, thanks very much. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.